What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 22 of the AllDriveNoDrop podcast. I'm joined by my favorite co-host, my favorite guy. I don't even know what I was going to say, but David, what's going on today? How are you doing?
Doing well, man. Just came back from playing, so looking forward to talking about it.
Let's go. What'd you play with?
I actually did the Flamingo again, and then Spartus, and then I did the Red Robust. So
okay,
we'll probably talk about that later.
Okay, I'm going to play after this, and I'm trying to narrow down what I want to play with. There's so much stuff to play with right now, but
yeah,
we'll figure it out. Snowing here, snowed a lot today. I think we got like 7 inches, and then getting another like 5 to 9 inches tonight. So, good times ahead. Still not packing. My kids want me to build a snowman, and I'm just trying to explain to them it's too fluffy. I can't do it, and then I just disappoint them every time. So I wish the snow would.
Elsa.
I know. I wish the snow would let me make the snowman, but it's not happening. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like mix it with water or something. Like, do I get a bowl out there? Someone tell me the recipe, but I don't know what to do. Any tips? I guess I should know more about snow than you, but
yeah, I don't know. Maybe put like a pickleball in there.
I feel like usually like the snow is fine to make snowmen, but this winter every time it snowed, it's not happening. But what can you do? Anyway, busy week for you. I guess I'll tell the people now. By the time this podcast comes out, I don't know. You probably won't be in the air yet, but David's going to the Joola event. I unfortunately had to pull out, so really sad there. Was looking forward to it, but just some life circumstances I had to cancel. But David will, I'm sure, give us the best recap ever, maybe next week.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know if I make any money at the
it makes it, having it in Vegas is a little dangerous, Yeah. I feel like a lot of the guys, I don't know how many of the reviewers and who else is going to be there exactly. I don't know if they're partiers, but we know our boy David is, surprisingly. I would have never guessed.
I know Kyle's pulled out his 401k. He's putting it all in black, so might have to join him.
50-50, right? Actually, maybe like a little less than 50-50, but pretty much 50-50. So can't go wrong with that. But yeah, I hope everyone has a lot of fun. And maybe there's like a live stream at some point I'll watch. But I do have Monday off, so come on.
Yeah.
At least I got Monday off. Anyway, let's get into it. We're just going to kick things off hot. We're going to go right into What the Pickle and David's hot take, and let's get it started. So, What the Pickle, sponsored by Enhanced Pickleball, makers of the Dink Master Pro. What I've been living and doing in my basement testing those paddles, it is one of the best training tools. Honestly, probably the only training tool I use. I don't use any of like the small pickleballs anymore. I don't really use the trainer paddles anymore. But the Dink Master Pro really lets you get some touches in, lets you get a feel for paddles, which for what we do is really important. But if you're in the cold or the winter, even good outside. Actually, I do like it better outside because obviously if you don't have a big basement, you have more room. But go check out the Dink Master Pro if you are looking to get more hits in at home. But What the Pickle this week actually has to do with MLP, Major League Pickleball. Series of trades went down, and I think these trades are kind of, for me, like I really love the idea of Major League Pickleball and having teams. But with all these trades that are going down, it's like 1-for-1 trades, but then one side is adding cash on the end.
Yeah.
So I know you're not like the biggest pro pickleball fan, but I think you could know like these trades are ridiculous. So one trade is Andre Daescu for Jay DeVilliers plus cash. Does that make sense to you?
I'm assuming it was Jay plus cash for Andre.
Yes,
right?
yes. So Jay plus cash. I don't think they say how much cash. So Jay plus cash, and then for Daescu. I don't even
think
care.
What more fair is like Jay for Daescu, and Jay can't use a Vulcan paddle, and then I think
that would be funny if that somehow like was put into it. But it's like Jay, I don't know what he's ranked, but he pretty much never like does anything in the tournaments. And then obviously Daescu just won and has won quite a bit in 2024 and now 2025. And Jay, maybe he saw a bronze medal once in a while, but like never even sniffs like a final, like not even close to the same caliber of player. So let me tell the other trade. The other trade was Pablo Tejas for Blaine Havenier plus cash.
Okay.
So, and then the other one, this one's not really like, this is whatever. Rafa Hewitt for Chris Hayworth. So
Okay.
that's kind of like whatever. The Pablo Tejas for Blaine Havenier, I think plus cash, I think is also kind of weird. But I think the Andre Diescu for Jay DeVilliers plus cash is like one of the ones that's like, what? Like, how much cash? Like 5 million, 10 million? Like, what? So it's kind of weird. It's like, what's a player worth? But I think the problem is, you can, if you're willing to pay, you can just get an extra stacked team now. Basically, is what it looks like. Like at least in like NFL, NBA, NHL, they're trading future assets. Like you have to trade draft picks plus a player to get a better player. Here, doesn't matter. You can just pay to buy a player. And like baseball kind of still have this problem, and in NHL hockey used to have this problem where like if you didn't have a salary cap, like you could just basically, if your team wanted to spend the money, you could have the best team, and it doesn't really make the league fair. And I think for most fans, unless you're a fan of the team, you want to see like a fair league, because otherwise your team's never going to have a chance, right? Like the team that's getting Jay DeVilliers is just selling any of their good players for money. They're never going to be good. You know, like Jay's fine, but he's never going to like carry a team to win. He's not even able to, you know, make the medal stand in tournaments, right? So I think it's a big problem with if you're just going to have a couple stacked teams and a whole bunch of crappy teams. Like it's just not going to make the league fun, especially if you have this whole summer booked for MLP. Like, okay, maybe there's like 2 or 3 good teams. If you're just going to stack the teams, it's like, well, just have those teams play then, right? That's I don't know. I feel like I'm going a little hot takey, but I just feel like it doesn't make sense.
What I just don't understand is like, where does that money go? Like if you're getting that player and then you're also getting that cash, does that, like, are you using that cash just for yourself or for the future? Like I don't really understand what the point
I
of
think
that is.
so. I think the ownership group just gets it. So like that's kind of the problem, is these teams don't really have a way to make money, I don't think, right now.
Yeah.
So they're just, you know, they're paying, and they have to help pay for the salaries of the players. I don't know what the split is, because they're always changing the rules and how things work. But they just don't. I think that's why some of these team owners are like, well, I need to recoup some of this investment, and I'm wasting money pretty much. I mean, I think some of them that are rich enough, they're like, this is just fun, you know, like I'm having fun. I like pickleball. I like having the team. But there's others that I think originally invested because they thought they could make money doing this, but I think they quickly figured out this was not a money-making venture. This is more of a money-draining venture.
Yeah, I mean, if I was an owner, I would sell Ben Johns, lose every game, but then I don't know, like sell him for like 10 million or something.
Yeah,
like, I'll take that.
If your goal was just to make money, sell them all. You know, like sell them all. But because now you have to buy a draft spot, I believe. Like and you have to spend real money, and that goes back to the league. So some of the teams probably just going to be like, whatever the cheapest draft spot is, that's what we'll take, and they'll just be bad. But anyway, that's it. Anything else on that? I mean, I think it is what it is.
I don't really understand MLP either, but just very confusing to me. So I don't really understand it.
I think that's going to be a big problem for them, is if they can't do a good job explaining like what's going on, then why would people are just kind of going to lose interest. They might tune in, but you're not going to get any dedicated fans. I don't even know all the cities. Like, well, they're not even playing really in their home cities, right? So, if you have all this shuffling going on, it's kind of hard to be a fan of a team. Like, what's the idea of the Dallas, what is it, Dallas Flash or the Columbus Sliders? Like, I don't know. I can't even tell you who's on each team, because they just change stuff so often. We'll see. But it's kind of set to have some continuity on the teams, but you still have some movement. But the teams are so small too; it's kind of hard. Like, you could lose half your team still. And but yeah, let's move on to your hot take. And available for sponsorship if anyone wants to sponsor David's hot take. Getting a lot of feedback. It's getting the people going. I honestly, when I started. When we started this podcast, I had no idea David could get on fire like this, and he can really spit it. So, David, what's your hot take today?
Yeah, so I think I should have clarified last week that this is like a multi-part hot take. So the reason is last week I was setting my opinion about the flick weights, and then I was going to try them and then update them. So I haven't really done too much with it. I was playing a bit today. I put the 6 grams on the Carbon 3 True Foam. For me, I know people were messaging me saying I should have put more weight on, but I only got the 6 grams, so that's all I had. And I was talking with the owner, but I was like, so I don't know about you, but when I hold the paddle, like my hand is here. So like the handle, like I've got like a fourth of my palm sticking out of the bottom.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see that there.
Yeah, I see.
So I don't know if,
move it
like,
a little bit more over to your
like this way?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I see it. No, other way.
So
Other way.
I don't know, like, oh, this way?
No, towards your face. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my wrist doesn't
Okay.
turn like that. All right.
Good. All right. Yeah, we see it. We see it. You're touching it.
Yeah, so I don't know, like, if you... So I'm not touching... Like, that's not the issue. It's just, I don't know if, like, normally people hold it, like, higher on the handle. Because I hold it kind of low, and I think it's kind of diminishing the impact of this flick weight.
That makes sense because the lower your hand's holding it, I'm not going to get into the science. Someone else will. I'm sure someone will someone will just go off in the comments and be like, "No, you just affects the balance point like this, the way you hold it." I'm like, I can't. Most of the people just want to know that how it feels. Yeah, 6 grams isn't enough though. Like that's. Yeah. I don't think you'll feel any difference with 6 grams really. So you'll have to stack a couple more, or put some weight in the handle too. I guess. I think I had the 18 gram on there. 1
week in, so I haven't done too much testing, and I know I was talking to the owner, and he was saying like the best way to like snap it on and off, and I was like, okay, well, the facility I usually play at actually had a shooting like maybe a few months ago, so like I don't feel comfortable bringing in like a knife or a screwdriver into the facility. There's got some like enhanced security in there, so it's not the facility, it's a mall actually. So there's a shooting in front of the mall, and the facility's in the mall, and so I was like, I shouldn't bring any questionable weapons because they got some like upped up security in there.
Well,
so.
Can't you just not change it there? Like, let's not bring knives to the court.
Well, so I wanted to do like side by side. So I want to like pop it off and then feel it. But I will say, like, when I did put it on, I was like, it does feel heavier, but I'm not getting the impact yet. So I don't know. Maybe I can get a different weight or like.
I'm sure you have some paddle that you have multiples of, right? Like, so that you could just kind of like do it side by side, or no?
I have a lot of J2Ks, but
I was like, I have a couple J2Ks, so I would just do that. But yeah, that's not a long.
It's already too bottom heavy, so I want to go long.
I know that's probably not the best one to try it on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so more to come, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna give it the old college try.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend a few weeks on this because like I want to give this like, some good time on it, but. Right now, like I don't know, maybe like they can give you a heavier one. So
I really liked it on the Franklin C45. Try it on that.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a good one because that one I added a lot of weight to. And I think it's good. That one's a good one to get the counterbalance with when you're adding all that weight. So
okay, because I have like 0.7 ounces on like the head.
Yeah, I think that's a great one to try it on. I really liked it on that. I also added it on the. This natural transition here, added it onto the Ripple R1. That one felt good too. Oh, did you mention Ripple or was that me? So there's a Ripple update. Oh my gosh. All right. Sorry guys. There's a Ripple update from Dong Ronbus. Dong is his name in the Discord, Dong Ronbus. From Dong, the owner of Ronbus. This is his roadmap for 2025. And I'm sure, as you know, with Ronbus, subject to change. Ripple R1 is frozen. I don't know. Okay, let's move on. The PBCoR is a new. Oh, he's just getting into. He was getting into like all the different shape or different production, blah 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 blah. But anyway, the path forward is that the R2 and R4 shape will go for similarity submission. So I guess. What? See, this is hard. It's hard to understand. I think like we need help with the messaging from him a little bit. But basically, I'll just summarize it because I can't read that verbatim. It doesn't make sense. He's going forward to try to fix the issue with the current Ripple, and then he's going to submit like an R2 and then an R4, which I believe is going to be a hybrid shape. I think it's going to be 16.25. Don't quote me on that, but he said like in the middle of the R2 and the R1, so it would make sense for
Oh,
it to be
okay. So that's a big
16.25.
powerful.
Yeah. So that would
I
be
don't know
cool.
why I was thinking it was gonna be like the J4K. I don't know why, because if I heard 4, I was like, oh, he's better not
Yeah,
be making that.
I think you add numbers to these shapes and it really makes it confusing. But yeah, especially like with the carbon true foams where it was like 1, 2, 3, but the 1 and the 3 are the elongated, and then the 2, it doesn't make sense when you think about it, and it's hard to keep track of things. But anyway, going for they're still trying to do it. They're hoping like early spring, I think, is kind of like the timeline, because I mean like it just takes so long to get in the queue right now. I think it's like people are saying it's like 6 to 8 weeks once you submit a paddle right now, so it just takes a while. They also are going to come out with like a cheaper series of the Ripple, and I think that's going to be in all 3 shapes as well. What the price point is, I'm not sure. So they're going to have like 2 different versions. I think I assume the cheaper version is going to be like less powerful. It only makes sense to me.
But well, I think one potential thing they could be doing is like with the Engage with the Max series, I think that's what it calls. But it's basically the Pursuit Pro without the raw carbon fiber, so there's no peel ply. So that's like their budget line. So I think that could be a potential thing that they're doing.
I think it's a great idea though, because I mean, like, it's going to be a $260 paddle. Great to have a budget power option, because there's not a ton of budget power options. So we'll see. More to come on that, I'm sure. But that's just kind of like a quick update. And then we wanted to talk about the best vapor power replacement, because a lot of people, I think it sold out again, right? I was too busy to follow if it sold out.
Yeah, I didn't follow up yesterday. It was Valentine's Day.
I assume at least the vapor sold out, if not. But anyway, if you're looking for something else, I think like I saw different people saying different things, and of course I made my video specifically with comparing it to the Olympus. I think the Olympus is still a fine alternative option. If you want the whole details, you can watch the review. But basically, the Olympus is poppier. I think it is a little less powerful stock. The Olympus comes in at a lower swing weight, on average like 110, and then the vapor power, I guess, comes. I think they said the range goes down to 113. I'm not sure if that's really true. But mine was.
I think it's like
mine was 115. Yeah, I just think the shape itself tends to lead to a higher swing weight, but you do get a bigger sweet spot with that. But if you're like one of those people that are like, I just want the lowest swing weight possible, then you might like the Olympus more. It just doesn't have as much power stock, but you can add weight. So still the Olympus would still be my pick, I think, for like the hybrid to pick if you weren't going for that. There's another option, the J2K Plus. That one's kind of confusing to me, because it seems like different people are having different results. So I'm kind of interested to see how your take on the J2K Plus, because like I have one that's hotter, one that's not, but it's kind of close, but not quite there. And then I've seen other people say like, oh, I got mine and it's, it doesn't feel like it's powerful. And I'm like, well, is it more powerful than the J2K? Because it should be. Like mine, both were. So I don't know. So I would say Olympus would be my first pick for replacement. Then I would pick the Franklin C45 when it comes out, because you can definitely weight that up and get similar power at a similar swing weight. And then I would pick the J2K Plus, just because I'm really unsure how it's going to perform long term. What would you pick for replacements? And then I'm just talking all hybrid options, if that's what you're looking for.
Because I know Braden had mentioned the J2K Plus, but funny thing is, like, again, like you said, it's like a bit inconsistent, and like the feel itself is completely different compared to the Power Series. So I think like if we're just talking like hybrid power alternatives, then like yes, but like if you want something that's like the Vapor's like balance, then I wouldn't include the J2K Plus, because that's more bottom heavy versus Vapor's more top heavy. So that's that's why I don't include the J2K Plus on the list, unless you like the J2K and you just want a more powerful version. Then because like if you want something like the J2K or like a typical hybrid shape, then you might not like the Vapor, because the Vapor is a bit top heavy compared to some of the other hybrids.
Yeah, I don't think any of the options I just mentioned are really top heavy either. So
yeah, it's not like a 1-to-1, because like the Vapor it's a unique shape.
Yeah.
So
you're saying there's no alternative?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like if I had to if we're just listing hybrid powers, then yeah, I would agree with the Olympus. I would say the Electo Gen 3, but that's very inconsistent. It's like the J2K Plus, where like sometimes it'll open up and hit really hard, sometimes it doesn't. So I mean, I have two that are like completely different. I think Farmer Linky also has like two different ones. Same with
Yeah.
Dustin. Um, and it's like yeah, there's just not that many like hybrid paddle or hybrid powers, right? In
Yeah.
general. So I don't know.
Actually,
Maybe just wait for the vapor power.
yeah. That's hard. I think the Vapor Power does have like one of the higher, like, I really like that the sweet spot was like pretty good towards the top too. Like, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of people complain about that. So if that's something you're looking for, I think that yeah, just wait for it. But or maybe if you really like that, you could also look at the elongateds. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's really not like you're saying. It's not. There's not a one-to-one replacement for it. So I guess that just means it's a special pad.
Yeah. I mean, I might add the Vatic Saga long handle flash on there,
Okay.
but that's not as powerful. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's it's hard. It's because like if Yola had a hybrid, I'd probably say whatever the Yola Gen 3S would be a great option, but they don't have a hybrid, so
yeah, I don't think they're gonna do it.
I it's crazy if they don't. Like go talk to whoever you need to while you're there and tell them to make a hybrid.
I'll talk to the pros because they're the ones that have more say. Actually, I don't think the pros will be there.
No, I don't think that. I don't think they'll have pros there.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe, but yeah, we'll see. So that's all we have on that. I guess we're final thoughts. There's not a direct replacement, but the ones we talked about, I think, are still good options if you're just
Yeah.
generally looking for a power hybrid paddle.
Yeah.
And then, kind of leading into that, upcoming paddles, Engage Pursuit Pro1, 6.0, and regular. These are actually decent options. Well, this is the wide body, as I'm showing it. Did I bring? Yeah, this is the one I played with.
Yeah,
I played with the
I got it
Pursuit
too.
Pro 1 6.0. I think it's 15.2 millimeters, and then
Wait,
the
why is yours red? Why'd you get a red one?
there's like 3 different colors.
Oh, okay. I was
There's
wondering if I
like
got
yeah.
chipped.
What, do you like red the best?
I mean, it looks nicer than the gold one.
Yeah, I have the gold in the wide body. I think they gave me like one of each color. This one I really enjoyed. So this is probably one of the soft. If all the hybrids I just mentioned, this one's the softest, like the softest feeling. It feels like muted, springy, almost kind of feels like the True Foam a little bit. This one's just really smooth. Power level, I think the swing. I gotta measure it, but I think I saw somewhere that the swing weight is like 110 or something. This is
Yeah,
like
mine's 109.
109. Okay, yeah, super maneuverable. And I think the other one that's the 12.7. I don't like the naming scheme, so the one that's not 6.0. I think that one's like 103, 104.
Yeah.
Did
The
you
wide
measure that
body,
one?
Yeah, so wide body, 60 millimeter. That one's 114, and
Yeah.
then the 13. I think it's 13 millimeter for the wide body was like
Yeah.
104, and then 109 for this one, and then the thinner one was 103. So I was surprised
Okay.
the wide body was much heavier than this one.
Yeah, so these are and I think these are all like 7-9 ounces about. Mine came in at. They mark them, so that's nice. But this has like for how lightweight it is, good power and pop, and obviously can weight it up a lot more. And for the people that like a super like smooth, more muted feeling, I was impressed. I was playing really well with these. Well, not with these. I only played with the Pursuit Pro 1 6.0 hybrid. I'm going to read the specs real quick. It's 16.25 inches long and 7 and 3/4 inches wide. 7.75, yeah. Yeah, but in the handle length, 5 and 3/8 inches. So I think that those are kind of like where I like the hybrid. I like the shape, like it's like a true hybrid almost. So kind of nice. I like it. Stock grip's not bad either. I wasn't having any challenges. I know you just throw it on right away, but I've been trying to try the stock grips if I think it feels okay. And I thought this one was fine. And then the wide body is 15 and 7/8 inches, and then it is 8 and 1/8 inches. So a true wide body.
True wide body.
True wide body. And then a shorter handle. I think they said it's 5.125 inches, but let me see here because I thought it was kind of short.
Yeah, because their original Pursuit Pro line, those already had some short handles.
Do a live measurement here. I think it's more of a 5-inch handle. So right here, we got 5 inches like at that tape line.
Yeah.
So I think it's a 5-inch handle. And I know some people that actually like the 5-inch handles. They want it as like short as possible. So I don't know. It is what it is. I'll have to try this. This is a huge face on this paddle too. So if you're someone that's likes a shorter handle and a huge face in the wide body, that'll be interesting. I wonder how poppy that is. It's the 12.7 millimeter one. That's interesting. But yeah, more to come on that. I think I'm definitely going to take one of them tonight to play. But we'll see. I don't know when those. I think they come out February 26th. If I remember correctly.
I got to start getting on that. I just got them this morning.
I think they come out February.
Demo on them. Oh, see that?
Did they write that? Luckily they wrote no. Don't write demo on the paper. I hate when they write I haven't had it happen in a while. But I'm like, really write demo on the paddle? Come on. But anyway, so those are coming out, and then we got these GRUVNS cruising paddles coming out. There's 5 of them. I think it's just a Gen 1 carbon fiber paddle that's going to be, like a control paddle, super soft. This is an interesting shape too. I don't think anyone makes these shapes anymore too much. Just a really short handle, big, long, elongated face. They're going to have 3 different elongated versions, a hybrid, and a wide body. So if you are, and they're going to be $99, I believe. They're going to be super cheap.
Yeah.
Control hybrid paddles, or not hybrid paddles, but Gen 1 carbon fiber paddles.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a Gen 1 carbon fiber, and then they basically replaces their old raw line. Yep. So that was I think those were used to go for 150, 160. So basically revamping that, dropping the price down, and then they changed all the handles to be better, so you don't have the exposed polymer anymore. But that one thing about GRUVNS is they do have all those unique shapes. So that's even though it is a Gen 1, they have a lot more shape options that you don't see for the other companies.
Very true. I think they have the most shapes of anyone in the game.
Yeah.
So that's cool that they have all those molds to play with. And then one more paddle, which just got here today, but I forgot to bring it down, is the Thrive Smoke. I'm not sure when that's coming out exactly. I probably bring that tonight actually too. That sounds like a fun one to play with. I have a little bit to say on it.
Yeah, it has they said the macro charged PBCoR.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. For. Let's see. It has the core is a wide cell core that we call a macro charge core. Oh, this isn't the same exact one that you're talking about. But yeah, it said it was a macro charge PBCoR. We were cracking up about that. But in 5 layers? Yeah, 5 layers. So some combination of carbon fiber and fiberglass, and 14.5 millimeters, and then I don't know about the rest of the stats. I know Jill Braverman's using it now, so we'll see how that paddle plays. Interested. Like the name. Wish there was a little bit more smoke on the paddle. The design's kind of plain. If you compared it to the Azul, but I guess that's more of just the Kevlar being cool.
Yeah, mine's in the mail still. I don't get it till Monday.
Yeah, the mail's been delayed lately a lot.
That's the snow, probably.
Yeah, the snow, and then sometimes it says my stuff is here, and then I don't get it, and then the next day it says it's in Chicago, and I'm like, why? How was it here and now it's in Chicago? It was never here then. But anyway, that's it on that. I think no more. I mean, obviously, and then the Joolas are coming out in probably April at this point. I don't think they're coming out in March. Maybe the end of March.
Okay.
They haven't announced a date yet, but originally
Yeah.
they said March, I think, but they never gave a hard date. I'm thinking it's probably going to be April now because usually they like to like start building the hype. But I'm sure actually we'll find out this weekend, I'm sure. And then, or you will. And then the thoughts. So our next thing was just our thoughts on the PBCoR numbers. And I think we talked about this a little last week, but in the new number, you have to be below, or I think you can be at 0.43 or below.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so the ones we have right now is 0.41 for the GRUVNS Laser Hybrid, and then 0.41 for the new Spartus Odyssey, and then 0.40 for the Spartus Orion. All these paddles are like pretty much around all court paddles. Maybe the GRUVNS Laser could lean all with power with the pop it has, but all these paddles are not close to like the paddles that got delisted. They're not close to the paddle techs that did not get delisted. So it's interesting to see these PBCoR numbers. We still don't have a benchmark of like what's 0.43. I think like one of the paddle techs must be 0.43, but it's interesting to see that we still don't have a benchmark to point at. And any thoughts on the PBCoR numbers? Like, what do you think this is going to shake out?
Yeah, because we also have some other numbers. We just can't disclose them, and so like having that data,
that's true.
It just kind of seems like everything is in like that small range. But like I do think like these paddles that are in that like 0.39 to 0.41 range, I don't feel like that they're all the same like power level. Like I feel like whoever came up with this numbering system, like it needs to like spread the values for these paddles out more. So they're not all clumped in that 0.39 to 0.41 range for like the all court paddles. I think there's more variance that we're noticing in these paddles than this test is. And so I think I don't even know how they came up to 0.43 or like why it's in that metric, but I still don't think it makes sense. But I think a lot of people are in that same boat.
Another problem too, I was thinking about as we were talking about the Honolulu J2K Plus, it feels like, and I think you could also lump in like the Pickleball Apes Pulse series.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I guess you could lump in the Joolas too, and anything that uses like the extra foam layer. They're not consistent paddle to paddle, so that could be an issue too when you're throwing these into testing. And okay, like maybe these ones weren't as hot. I mean, I guess this could be any paddle. Like you're not, like if you're not submitting the same thing, but it's more of a problem with the foam paddles because there's like more variation, and they're not doing degradation testing, which I guess I understand to a point. They're like, it might take too much time, but I think the problem is maybe that is another reason if you're like have higher testing fees, like okay, pay for the time to do it then. Like what's it cost? Charge it, because you need to test these paddles because they break in. If I don't know. Like it's a hard thing to figure out how to make everyone happy, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll get more and more numbers, and we can kind of we'll figure out what this PBCoR stuff actually means.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got on that. Any other thoughts?
No, just waiting to hear more from USAP on it. So. All
right, and then let's talk. You wanted to talk about the Red Robust.
Yeah, so I was just playing a few hours ago, but I was hitting this paddle. I've kind of broken in a bit more. I actually quite like this one. Okay. I'm actually not sure how it's constructed. I don't think Cliff knows either. Based on like his interaction with the Discord, he didn't really know what was in the paddle, but I was hitting it today, kind of just didn't really have any expectations because it's probably my third time hitting it. And I just thought like, this was actually pretty nice. I put some weight on the throat and sides. And I liked it better than the Flamingo that I was also trying, but this is significantly cheaper. I don't know the construction, but I do think it's a nice like power paddle. Like it hits a bit harder than the Gen 2 as I was hitting the all-court style paddles, but it reminds me of the J2K Plus, but just in an elongated shape. So I think that's why I liked it.
Okay, did yours like break in, or was it hot like at that power level automatically?
It breaks in. So because day one it felt all court. Now it's like all court league power. It could probably break in even more, honestly.
Okay. All right, let me get my massage gun out and
Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's because I was like, when I played it, it just kind of was like, I was like, yeah, it's okay, but
That's the issue with these Gen 3 paddles. Is like it requires so much testing on hardware side. Like we all have to break it in, and then then there's
yeah,
so many
you
of them. So
say you
now
have
we're
to
trying
play
break all
like
of them in.
yeah, you have to play like 8 hours to break it in. I'm like, okay, it's like everything I just did was irrelevant. Like now I have to play it more to feel
Yeah.
that's the problem. It's like, man, I got to play double the time pretty much. Triple the time, and then it's like, okay, there's two of these. It's like that's kind of why I only did one of the Power series. I'm like, man, to put all the time in on each model of the series, it takes work.
The TI takes forever too. Oh, sorry, you're talking about powers. I was talking about the
No,
QC
yeah,
TI.
I'm just but that was more of like a time restraint for me that I just didn't get them in time. But yeah, like the TI. Has yours broken in a lot? I feel like mine.
No.
Okay, I was like, mine did, but it's like not a ton.
Yeah.
And I still don't. I guess I'd have to cut it open. It must be less foam, I assume, right? Like it just. I don't know what else it would be. Like, why
Like
is there
less
such
foam
a
or like how the heat's applied if it's not the right temperature.
like such a drastic difference? But I wish he would explain it to us, just so we could explain it to people. Like, it's not just. There's a construction difference. It's not just the facing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Red Robust from Cliff Pickleball. If he does know the construction, I'd have him on to explain it because I'd love to know. I might have to. Man, I was like, I need a saw. I'm gonna have to start cutting stuff open, but
yeah,
I haven't used a saw in a bit. Maybe there's an alternative. Like, can I chop it with an axe? It wouldn't be as clean, but no. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to do it without any tools on like the original Vatic Pro V7, and that like I had carbon fiber strands flying everywhere, so
Ooh,
definitely
dangerous.
needs like it was very dangerous.
Okay. Maybe I will I think I might know someone. I could probably get some help before I hurt myself, and maybe I can learn to do it. That's all I had on the show notes today. Anything? Well, coming up after we're done talking, I did an interview with Diadem co-founder Evan Specht. So he talks about all the BluCore technology they have coming up in the spring, and just kind of the thought process behind it. So I'm gonna play the interview after this. So don't go anywhere. We're just doing a little shorter this week to get that interview in, and I think it's pretty good. If you were interested in that BluCore, just one teaser. They do like in the handle or the butt cap. It's going to be clear and it shows the core. I think that's kind of cool. Kind of interesting if everyone did that, but I guess it's just special because it's blue. But stay tuned for that. Besides that, David, anything else before we jump into the interview?
No, I'm just gonna miss you in Vegas, but I will bet lots of money on your behalf.
All right, maybe I'll have you bet red for me, so at least one of us, if Kyle's going black, I'll go red. At least one of us can walk away happy.
One of the podcasts has to win.
Yeah. What's the other one in roulette? It's like green or something. There's one green one, right? I'm not a casino guy.
I'm actually not either.
Okay, like the only thing I've done in casinos is the slots. I've never played any table games. I was too scared. Like I was in their like young 20s. I'm like, no, I can't do it. I don't even know how to do anything.
Yeah.
Although I was a big poker fan at one point, so I always wanted to go play poker in the casino, but I'm sure I would have just been donating money to the casino. So I didn't do it. All right, let's jump into that interview with Evan Specht from Diadem Sports, and of course, as always, go subscribe to Tickle My Pickleball and AllDriveNoDrop. But here we go, Evan Specht. Let's go. All right, so I'd like to welcome Evan Specht, co-founder and head of operations at Diadem Sports. Evan, how's it going today? And thank you for joining me.
Yeah, it's going great. Beautiful South Florida weather. Happy to be here.
Well, I'm in a cold and snowy Michigan. We're getting a nice snowstorm up here, so we got those polar opposites.
Yep.
So it's nice one of us can go outside and enjoy life right now.
Absolutely.
But we're here to talk about some cool, exciting technology that Diadem's bringing, and I'm pretty excited. Do you want to give a little bit of background about Diadem Sports
Sure.
and your role and everything?
Yeah, Diadem Sports was founded in 2015. We started with tennis. We started with a tennis string. And as we grew the brand, grew the SKUs, we found pickleball. So in about 2019, we built a pickleball court. We learned how to play. I started playing tournaments, specifically myself. And I fell in love with not only the sport, but also the opportunity for the innovation within the sport. Because in tennis, it's a very slow-moving, pretty mature market where, products are what they are, and we try to add as much flavor as we can, but we can only do so much. In pickleball, we were able to kind of just go wild with our innovation, and so we started creating products from paddles to balls, and then of course shoes, and then for me, it's mostly been my role to deal with product development, deal with logistics. Of course, I help out with sales and marketing as well. But my passion is really making product and bringing that product to market.
Okay, awesome. I don't know if you can answer this, but are you starting to see like your business side focus more on pickleball than tennis, or would you say it's 50-50?
Yeah, I mean, I think last year it passed 50-50 and became more like 60-40 in pickleball. We have a lot of awesome things in tennis. We signed a top 20 pro player in tennis to use our new racket that we're launching this year. So one of our first, the first new product really in tennis in a while, because it's kind of like a middle of the road in between two of our mainframe rackets. So it's not like a lower quality. That's not what I mean by middle of the road, but I mean it's kind of like got the best of both worlds. We're doing well in tennis, and we're growing internationally in tennis as well. But pickleball, there's just so much growth, so much more direct to consumer, so much more opportunity to get into stores and clubs and shops, where in tennis, we are a challenger brand. We're not one of the big 4 or 5 brands. In pickleball, we are. So it makes it a little easier.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of interesting. It's like you're almost not, I won't say you're a legacy brand, but like you've been around so long now that you were before the boom. But then tennis, like obviously, I don't even know when you would consider the tennis boom, but obviously before we were alive.
90s, in the 90s, and exactly. So nobody really expected a challenger in the tennis industry, right? It's like not easy to break that barrier, and it's been a battle that we enjoyed. We've been having success, but in pickleball, yes, I would say we were early enough and innovative enough that I don't know if there's legacy brands, but we're definitely one of the brands that is known and has been around.
Yeah, definitely. Like I came into the game, I feel like it's almost been 4 years now, and I saw, Diadem was one of the brands I saw at the time and have seen throughout time. I think you guys, I don't want to say you took like a break, but like you were innovating in spaces like the Vice paddle, the Hush paddle, like you were innovating in unapproved spaces. So I was excited to see this BluCore because I was waiting for you to innovate in the approved category. I mean, you did kind of have your Infinity Max where you're kind of innovating with the edge guard, putting on that edgeless paddle, which I do think there's definitely a space for edgeless paddles to have that weighted system. And I think it's cool that you can change your edge guard color. And I think it would be cool if you guys played around with like different densities so you could have different weights. But I was excited to see this BluCore, and it's kind of the reason you're here today is to talk more about this new core technology. So if you wanted to tell us about that, and I kind of just have a question to start. Is it blue for like just to make it look cool, or is it just blue because that's the material you're using?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I'll start with that, and then I want to touch on what you said earlier too. But there's a lot of answers I can give, and we actually presented this at DiaCon, and we were thinking like, okay, do we explain this part or this part? The really easy answer, and is the simplest and most honest answer, it's blue, so it's BluCore. Now, the additive changes the way that the product plays for sure versus the standard black. We like the way that the blue played, but if it would have been green, red, orange, or purple, it probably would have played the same as long as the dye amount is the same. But the real reason is and here's a butt cap of what one of our BluCore based paddles will look like. This is not an actual production paddle. This is just to show off BluCore.
Okay.
But the butt cap is clear. And you will see, or we could do like what we have here, pockets on the side, but you will see that it is filled with BluCore.
But that butt cap will be on the production unit.
Yes.
So everyone will be able to see.
Every paddle that we launch that contains BluCore will have a clear butt cap. and it'll be clearly known that you're getting a paddle with BluCore. And the reason that it's blue and the reason we're showing that is for several reasons. One, the big statement and the big opportunity we are making with BluCore is we're offering a lifetime warranty on the core of the paddle. So if it's not blue, you're not getting that.
Okay.
Also, a lot of our international partners, and we're seeing it even in the U.S., I've seen it on websites, counterfeiting is becoming more and more prevalent. And again, it's especially over in like Asia and South America, even we're seeing it. But, without it being BluCore, you know that it's not a Diadem paddle, especially when we're launching our BluCore variations. But really, it's so that the consumer knows they're getting a paddle they can trust. They're getting a paddle that's going to last. They're getting a paddle that has the technology that Diadem is producing, and that's important to us.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome, and I think a lot of people would be interested in the lifetime warranty aspect because even in your marketing and stuff, you talk about how this is going to prevent core crushing, which seems to be the biggest issue plaguing paddles from a lot of people I play with, and a lot of people are always asking me like, what's something that doesn't core crush? And I'm like, well, if it has the normal polypropylene core, like it's prone to core crushing. Like it's just what it is if you're a big hitter. So what is the BluCore? I think it's it's smart to, like, even if you're adding this dye and like as you said, it has a little extra weight to it, so you have to factor that in. But I think it's it's cool to look at, right? Like it stands out. And it's cool that you have the clear butt cap. It's just an added cool thing. I'm sure people will be like, oh, let me check it out. Like let me you can actually see the core in the handle, which is cool.
Yeah, and I mean for us, it's just this concept of the insane amount of competition in the paddle space, and not just like what you see on social media or what podcasts talk about. Well, when you go into the stores that are carrying our brand. They're also carrying as many as 20 other brands, and you get lost in this sea of colors and designs and branding. And so just continually making products, technologies, and making those technologies easily visible and understandable is part of the reason for the blue, part of the reason to showcase the core. And to go back to your question before about, or not question, your comment about, took a break, and I've heard that before. What we did is we did skip Gen 3 overpowered illegal paddles. We did skip that, and we've been working on this because we got the mandate, we got the conversations from USAP and the governing bodies that was not going to be something that was going to last in terms of legality. We'll see what happens with that. I mean, there's obviously people that are buying those paddles, that are enjoying those paddles, that are selling and making those paddles. We didn't get into that. So, last year we launched, the Edge 18K SP, which was a very popular paddle for us, and our 18K material is pretty unique and has a lot of benefits. We also launched the Hush paddle, which was, pretty. I see you got one back there behind you,
have one behind me.
Which has been a pretty good success for us, more in the niche space of country clubs or communities that need it acquired. Yeah, it's not like a production paddle that people around the world are dying to get their hands on, but if you have a need for a quiet paddle, it's a great paddle. It's the quietest paddle there is. And so what we kind of spent our time and effort and development, costs and all that on is this BluCore, and to solve the problem, like you said, of core crush, delamination, dead spots, all the things that we've encountered, but we've definitely heard from other customers using other brands even more so, right? This is a very prevalent issue, especially when you're just kind of doing a copycat brand. You get it off Alibaba and you start your own brand out of your garage, right? Like that's what the consumer is being handed. Now, I think there's still a lot of innovation that they're being handed, right? Super fast paddles or super spinny paddles or just some sort of great innovation, but they're also not lasting, and that's causing, a little bit of inconsistency in trust of even the sport. I want to get into pickleball, but what is the quality of the paddle, the performance, what's the long-term viability of everything? So for us, it was incredibly important to put our stamp on a lifetime warranty where consumers will decide on their own when to upgrade, not be forced to upgrade because either their paddle is broken or it becomes illegal or anything like that. Because along with the consistency and the durability, the paddle isn't going to change much over time, right? There's no degradation over a couple months where the core separates or the layers separate or anything like that. It's a very consistent and durable over time paddle.
Yeah. Okay. So no break in time. It sounds like that's good. I mean, I think pretty much everyone prefers their paddle not to change over time. Because they want to get like 2 or 3 if they're a serious player.
Right.
And they don't want to have any difference between the 3.
Sure. Yep.
So what is the BluCore exactly? What is it made out of? What's going on?
Yeah. So it's a expanded polypropylene. Or EPP, right? So instead of a PP honeycomb, it's an EPP core. It's actually basically the same fundamental material as polypropylene in a different form. It's made by it starts with pellets. Those pellets are added with resin into a mold that's heated and the pressurized, and it becomes an incredibly strong and very lightweight material that so much lightweight to the point where we have to account for some of the thicknesses being lighter than as a basic form, lighter than polypropylene honeycomb that's hollow.
Yeah.
So in the structure, in the layup with the carbon fiber and all that, we actually have to add weight in certain areas to make sure that the weight is what we want it. We don't want for some paddles, we don't want to be super lightweight, but we could make them super lightweight. So having that solid structure creates a much better impact resistance. Okay. We did testing in the lab. We've done testing obviously outside the lab, but we can do a lot longer testing in the lab. Thousands, tens of thousands of hits, and how that paddle starts to compact on itself or not. And with the BluCore compared to a range of polypropylene cores, we did different thicknesses, different cell sizes, different manufacturers. On average, it lasted it was 10 times longer in any kind of change in the crushing of the core, to the point where basically BluCore didn't change at all, and about 10% degradation in a honeycomb over a few tens of thousands of hits. Okay. So that's the first step. Second, because the material is this solid material that's put into a mold, expanded, heated, the outside is actually a little bit stiffer than the inside. So we start to get that almost like cushion where it can kind of compact and then reflect back out. So you're getting kind of a rebound effect. These are all going to be within the rules. We could probably make it outside of the rules if we wanted, but ours would be inside of the rules. So you get that elasticity where it's recovering, and it's recovering quickly, and it's recovering time after time after time. And then the compression strength, it just doesn't compress. You could. Here's a small piece. You could literally drive a tank over it, and it's literally not going to do anything. We challenged people at Diacon to break this, and it's so strong that it's not going to happen. So
that is basically a chunk of the core. If I were to cut the paddle open, it would just be that solid blue core. I saw the guy hitting it with a hammer. Yeah. So I hope that if there's a way I can get a paddle without the carbon fiber on the face, and I can take a hammer and I can, it just looks like fun.
Sure.
And,
yeah. Well, we're going to be sending out pieces of BluCore to our partners and our reviewers and stuff as the tease, and then once we get our first paddle launch, which is coming soon, it's coming in the spring, then we'll be getting those out, and there'll be different variations. One thing I say is the reason that we launched BluCore as a technology first is it's not a specific paddle. We can make a powerful paddle, we can make a control paddle, we can make a poppy paddle, we can make a thick, a thin, a wide. We can do anything with it. It's just replacing one of the key components that are inside of paddles, which is honeycomb to BluCore. So there's a lot. I don't want to say, this is a really, really poppy material, or this is a really dense material, or slow material. It's whatever we want it to be based on changing the densities, changing the construction. But the material, like honeycomb, is just a different material. There's different thicknesses of honeycomb, different densities, different manufacturers and all that.
That makes sense. So you'll have different, I guess, densities and different thicknesses and different shapes.
Yep.
Do you have are you going to launch just one model to start with BluCore, or do you think you'll have a couple different shapes to start out, a couple different thicknesses?
So the juice I can give you without giving you too much is we will have 9 variations at launch.
Okay.
Now, all within one line, but 9 variations. And then as the year goes on, our plan and our expectation is to replace all of our high-end paddles and then their new model that comes out with BluCore instead of honeycomb.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, that sounds like quite a bit of options for people to choose from. So I think that's pretty good for a launch. So that sounds exciting to have all those different options, especially for people that are, if they're a Diadem fan and that's the only thing they play with, or people looking to get into it. It sounds like they can get a shape and a density that they want, or a thickness, I mean. Yep. And I mean, you got a lot of possibilities when you can change the density of the core. And if this looks like, I mean, from everything you're saying, obviously wait till I get it to my hands, but the core crushing seems like it would be fixed if you don't have these individual cells, and then we'll see how that holds up over time.
Yeah, and I think just like that's absolutely correct. And then, from our point of view, it's not only like the core crushing in the middle, but just, on the ends when you have to cut the honeycomb, the outside cells are, not fully enclosed, right? So like a cell is like a hexagon, but when you cut the outside, those outer cells are already damaged. Yep. And then during production and during shipping and then of course during playing, internal cells can get damaged. Yeah. And the bond between the cells and the carbon fiber or fiberglass through a non-woven material, it's just not consistent. And it was a great innovation going from wood to honeycomb, and wood and whatever materials. In whether it's whether it's carbon fiber or fiberglass or Nomex or whatever it is, was a great innovation. But this is a much bigger step. And again, it goes back to that consistency and performance over the life of the paddle. But the dwell time is better, right? So you're getting a better feel of the ball. The sweet spot is bigger because it's consistent all the way across the paddle. And so all of these things, not only is it more durable, but it's having better performance as well. So I truly think the future of, pickleball paddles will be solid cores. And there's going to be all sorts of different solid cores that come out. But I think honeycomb is not the best option for pickleball paddles.
Yeah, I mean, and we've seen some full foam cores come out with carbon and Selkirk. And I know... I do want to just clarify, like, when you're saying a bigger sweet spot, it's the same throughout. I don't think any paddle, no matter what, they're never going to have the sweet spot go all the way to the edge. It's still going to die down a little bit towards the edge. I mean, it's not possible to have the same sweet spot in the middle as the edge, right? It's going to die down a little bit. It's just not possible. And we do cut the cells on the edge. I mean, we have to cut through those cells. If you break this, and you can do it, it just takes a lot of effort. The individual cells are in there. And so it's a closed cell material, but we do have to cut it. So yes, and then by the way, as you get toward the edge, your balance and your swing weights and twist weights you're hitting it outside of that, outside of that core. So is this going to be thermoformed? Like is okay? It is going to be. Are you going to have edge foam still, or is this core?
Okay. No, there is edge foam, and to be honest, it's funny because there's like the realities of construction, and then there's marketing stories. Yeah. The reality of a construction of a molded, it's called a hot press molded, or what someone came up with along the way, thermoformed. Yeah. To have that shape, you have to have foam there to build that shape. So it was put in there for the construction, and then it does have some other benefits like vibration dampening and some other stuff. But it really wasn't made or built for the purpose of whatever marketing story you've probably heard. It was built because you needed that to have the rounded shape or flat shape or whatever shape you wanted. Otherwise, that carbon fiber on the edge would have just collapsed into the honeycomb.
Gotcha.
So yeah, but it will have it. Yeah.
Okay, and then so I think I saw that it's going to have 5 layers of different carbon fiber and fiberglass. Is that like 4 layers of carbon fiber, 1 layer of fiberglass? Can you go into
all of the layers?
layup?
I wouldn't go into the layup now because it depends on the paddle. So within the variations, there's different layups. You know what I mean? So when we launch the paddle and the variations, we can explain what each is and why each is the way it is. But as of now, like the idea of this is just the core, and then all the paddles will have their own tech. And by the way, the paddles that we're launching next, they have a lot of other very cool technology inside of them besides just the BluCore. The BluCore is just going to be the big, sexy, high level technology that we're going to be talking about for a while. But they have their own tech within each line.
What type of exciting technology are we talking about?
I will say the other little nugget I could give you that nobody else knows is the edge guard. The edge guard is very, very unique. It's not like anything that's ever been out there. And so it's almost like a cross between an edgeless and an edge guard. So again, going back to durability and consistency and the lifetime warranty, we wanted to improve edge guards that we've seen people have had a lot of troubles with.
Okay. I'm guessing you don't want to talk price point right now either.
No, I'm not going to talk price point right now because it's not even set. We have our costs. We have, what we're going to, sell to our retailers and distributors. So I'm not really sure what our final landing price is going to be for the retail. But I can tell you we will never be the most expensive paddle on the market. That's just not our brand. We want it to be where people can get it, they can use it, and they're not feeling like they're getting gouged on a price. You will have a lifetime warranty, so you got a lot of value already built in, but we won't be the most expensive.
Well, I'm thinking even if I assume it's going to be at least consistent with what you have now, if it's like in the 220s, 230s, 250, but you get the lifetime warranty, I could see people seeing the value in that, especially when they're buying these paddles for 250, 280, but they have to warranty them, and then if they run out of their warranty period, they're buying another one. So I definitely know people are willing to invest in something that is high quality, but they also have a backup guarantee with that warranty. So,
and that's what we want to give. I truly believe, and I'm excited to get it out in the market and see it over the next couple of years. But I truly believe the way that we've built it and the materials we're using and the technology, like we just have that as a safeguard in case something random happens in our production or in the shipping. But these paddles are meant to last. Again, they're lasting as long as you want to use them for. Just like for us in a tennis racket, you change tennis rackets because you want to. You want a new color, or you like the player that's using this other racket or whatever, not because your racket literally falls apart after a few months.
Okay. And then I have a question. I was looking at the UPAA approved, like people that are on the list right now. I did not see Diadem on there. I'm guessing that you're not going forward working with UPAA and just solely focused on USAP. Is that right? Or
I would say that that's right for the time being. We did not send in paddles. We did not pay a fee. We're not interested in paying more fees to approve a paddle. For us, we don't have sponsored pro players playing PPA and MLP events.
Yeah.
So, I'm not still really sure how it affects, amateur players playing in those type of events, and I'm not sure how it affects those players around the world because there are MLP and PPA now popping up where we have strong partners in Vietnam or Japan or Australia. From what I've seen, it doesn't. There's been a tremendous amount of pushback from the brands and from people on that whole thing. For us, it's just we've stayed away in the recent years from the pro scene because of the rules, regulations, costs. We care about the regular players. We want people that want to get better, whether you're a 2.5 or a 5.5, but you want to get better. That's who we want, and that's kind of what we cater our brand to. We cater our marketing. We cater our products to. So we don't really cater to the few pro players that are out there.
Gotcha. I mean, I think that makes sense. Really, not too many people are watching the pro scene for most of the amateur players, so I don't think it is too important, and obviously I won't get into more. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
So that helps clarify that. And then so it sounds like you haven't set any paddles into USAP yet.
Yes and no. We have in terms of just making sure that the material is good. The final production line will be getting there any day now.
Okay.
But yeah, so the way we've built it and the way we know, I mean, it's 100% approved. There's really no issues there, and we've already kind of gotten that information from them.
Gotcha. All right. Well, looking forward to seeing these in early spring. I don't have any more questions about the BluCore or any other paddle-related questions. And if there's anything else you wanted to share on it, feel free to do so, or we can move on to the shoes you have coming out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's it for the BluCore. I mean, obviously there's a lot more information to come when we kind of talk about the paddles. I think just at a high level, we're excited to introduce a material that we think will kind of change the way paddles are being made and the expectations that consumers have from paddles.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, everything you're saying sounds good to me. Anything that could fix paddles breaking and have them out there longer while still performing well, all for it. I think everyone is looking for that. So,
yeah,
very excited to see and try these out. But you're in the shoe game. What's going on with these new shoes?
But yeah, we're in the shoe game and we're enjoying the shoe game. It's super cool to be in the shoe game because just even when we started the brand, never could have imagined making shoes. We have one of the best, if not the best, shoe designers in the world with a background with all sorts of brands at a high level in tennis, but also in basketball. So we launched last year our Court Burst, which we've had a lot of success with. But the one thing that we often heard, and mostly we heard it from our partners that are retailers or distributors, is, the price point. A lot of their customers, are looking for a lower price point. The shoe that we made, we basically threw everything in it that we could, as high-level tennis and pickleball players, imagine you would want, right? So it's got all the bells and whistles. It's stable. It's comfortable. It's durable. But it's $150 retail. And some people don't want to spend that. Some people do. I mean, shoes are so personal. How it fits, the price, the look, all that. So as we're growing, we got to add more colors. We got to add more styles, more fits. And so with 2025 and the expansion of the footwear business, not only did we add socks already, which is a fun but pretty cool product. We're adding slides this year. I don't really have much information on that as we're still in development, but we're pretty close. But then we added the Court Flow, this is one of the colorways. This is a men's colorway. And this is $115 price point shoe. So it kind of goes down to a different market. Doesn't have as many bells and whistles, but it's geared more towards almost like an on-court, off-court type player, right? Like you can wear this to the grocery store and people aren't going to look at you funny. When I wear tennis shoes, they might go, "Oh, are you a tennis player?" This could almost pass by the eye as just a walking shoe. But it does have features for pickleball. It has features for all court sports where you're getting roll protection from your ankle, you're getting durability in the forefoot, and it actually uses the same outsole as our Court Burst, so you're getting the durability in the rubber. But it's a very lightweight, mesh-based shoe with extra foam. And that foam leads to not only a good look, but it leads to more comfort and a little bit higher off the ground, so you're getting a little bit more foam and comfort underfoot.
Okay. I mean, it sounds good. I haven't tried any of your shoes, but I've seen the designs, and I think they look really good. I'm one of those people that unfortunately is very particular about their shoes. And it's not my fault. It's my feet. Like,
100%.
I have super flat feet, and like certain shoes dig into my heel, so it's kind of just a problem. Like I have to be very specific, but they look cool. So
yeah, I also have very flat feet, so you should definitely give it a try. I find even the Court Burst, our higher price point shoe, which is definitely geared for on-court activity. I mean, I'm wearing it now. I wear it all the time, and obviously it makes sense because we made the shoe, but I'm totally comfortable in them all day long, whereas when I was coaching tennis, when I was younger, I'm on court all day. I couldn't wait to get my shoes off, right? I just couldn't wait. But yes, footwear is so specific to, how someone's foot feels in them. But we've seen a lot of early success, and it's a difficult, situation because we're selling a lot of shoes online. People will buy 9.5s and 10s. One of those are coming back, right? Probably. But we're excited because our return rates, our feedback have all been so good that we know we've created something really nice with these shoes, and it's just an opportunity for us to continue to do more in pickleball because we can have a full head to toe lineup for you. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, I'll have to try them out if you're saying that you got the flat feet recommendation.
100%.
Look forward to that. That's good that you guys, always appreciate when people listen to their customer base, and you guys went out there and did it. So that's cool. Recovery slides sound like a good thing too. I usually wear my shoes the whole tournament, but I know some people that are switching back and forth, and obviously when you're done, you want to take your shoes off and air those feet out, whatever,
Yeah, and a lot of our junior tennis players, so high school kids going to college, that's a big part of their day-to-day. They're playing tournaments all day just like pickleball players do, and they don't want to keep their shoes soaking wet, so they having that kind of option to switch to, I think it'll be a really good addition to the footwear line.
Cool. Well, anything else you wanted to talk about? I think that exhausts me of my questions. I think you gave us a lot of good information and everything that people want to know.
Yeah, the only thing I would add, just as a closing statement, is for the people that missed DIACON and the event that we do, we did it a couple weeks ago. We do it once a year, and we kind of bring all of our partners and a lot of just general consumers come too. And it's a big party. We talk about what we've done and what we have coming. One of the big statements that we did make this year, and so I don't know if you or your viewers know, but we also have facilities that we own and operate or just manage depending on the situation. But one big thing for us this year is we're going to plant a flag. We want to teach 50,000 people how to play pickleball through our facilities, through our international distributors, through partner clubs that we work with. Last year at our main facility, we've added some since then, but our main facility here in South Florida, we taught about 2,500 people how to play pickleball in the year.
Oh, nice.
So we got a big jump to do 50,000, but we're going to utilize other facilities. We're going to utilize our partners. We're building some courts in Malaysia. Japan has a pretty strong structure for us. And so for us, it's super important to continue to grow pickleball, and we want people to grow with a passion for Diadem as well. So it's a good double bonus for us to not only teach and introduce people to pickleball, but introduce them to our brand.
Nice. Well, if you ever come to Michigan, let me know. Actually, my friend is creating a facility 5 minutes away from me right now, so I'm super pumped. And,
we're probably working with them. I think so. Just in terms of not in building it, but in terms of carrying the product, obviously.
Oh, I didn't know. You already know them? I didn't know.
I don't know. I mean, tell me which one. I know there's a few in Michigan, so if you told me which one, I might be
It's in Royal Oak. I don't know if I'm supposed to say the name, but
maybe.
Okay.
We'll talk about it some other time.
All right, we can talk about it after this.
Sure.
Yeah. But super excited, and thank you so much for joining. And I've been doing a couple of these now. I think it's really cool to get the insight from people at these paddle companies. And obviously, I can always relay the information, but always better to get it from the source and let the people explain for themselves. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that opportunity.
All right, awesome. Well, we'll look forward. Maybe we'll have you back on the next time you have some big news. So thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day.
Yep, you too. Thank you.